Okay, welcome to today's class, everybody. I don't know why this still showing that it's trying to load my screen share at my end. But you guys are saying you're already seeing my screen, so we are good. So today we'll talk about authentication, right? How to authenticate a user using bearer token. So there are different strategies you can use to authenticate a user, right? But the very popular one, which like is mostly used, right, is the authenticating using bearer token. In fact, you would learn others, right? You would learn others on the way, but this one is actually very important to know at this point. Then also we'll look at how we can send emails using NodeMailer. So we know that, of course, if you've interacted with a website before, which I know you guys have interacted with, your OTP could be sent to your email, or a link could be sent for you to verify your email, or all those
Hello, sir.
kind of things. Yeah.
Okay, sorry to disturb. I've not been very active with our class. At times I will
Yeah.
just something will take me off and all.
Yeah. Would can we talk about it after the class? Is that okay? Okay. Cool. So we are talking about authenticating a user using bearer token, and then how to send email using NodeMailer. So we are going to talk about some things that are related with these topics, right? Let's see. We'll look at what authorization is, right? Then we are also going to look at what JSON Web Tokens are, because we said we are going to be using bearer token, right? So bearer token, JSON Web Token. Bearer token is a strategy, right? And then bearer token uses JSON Web Token as a technology to enable it authenticate people. Okay, so we'll see how we can create JSON Web Tokens. We'll see how we can implement things like register, login, logout, right? And then we will look at how to protect routes using middlewares. Okay, now, so let's start. So I already talked a bit about what authorization is, right? There was, I think in one of our classes, I talked about what authorization is, right? And I gave an example, if you guys can remember, that people can walk into a place, right? Different kinds of people can walk into a place, but let's say in a company, right, there are some places that are restricted to only staffs. Only staffs can enter there, right? And then some other parts of the company is just open to everybody. So before you pass where it's restricted for staff, you have to prove that you're a staff. And what you would likely want to use to prove that you're a staff is your ID card, right? Or maybe a letter that that permits you to enter that place at that particular time. So that's what you're trying to do there. Is you're trying to okay, you're trying to authenticate, right, with the with whoever is guarding that place, right? So now there's a difference between authentication and authorization, right? Authentication is if you're asking if you're even permitted, right, to have access to that place, right? So when you authenticate, right, what that process of authenticating is you saying, am I allowed? Okay, they are checking if you're even allowed, right? Or if to prove who you are, right? You're trying to prove, for example, I say I'm a staff. Okay, what makes you a staff? Okay, I have an ID card, my name is on the staff book, okay, and I also logged in, right? Maybe I signed in today. they can check those things. And if I did all those things, that proves that I am a staff. So which means I can be allowed to go into wherever I want to go. But then authorization is different. Authorization is saying, even if you're a staff, like, what are the things you can do? Can you take this action? Can you, yeah, even in companies, right? There are places that staffs can't actually go. There are things that staffs can't actually do, right? So those things are, for you to access them now, you need authorization to access them. So for example, let's take a company, for example, right? The staffs, okay, let's say the cleaner for a company can't really go and start signing documents that the manager is supposed to sign, right? Because he's not authorized to do that, right? But he's a staff there. He or she's a staff there. He has passed through the gates, which means he's authenticated. It's sure that, okay, this person is our staff. He can walk around. He can clean anywhere he wants to clean, right? He's authorized to clean anywhere he wants to clean, and he's a staff too because he has his ID card and the rest. But there are things that he can't do, which other people can do. For example, the manager can like decide to sign whatever, sign any document or take some other actions, right? Okay, so authentication, proving who you are, right? Authorization, proving that you have access to a particular thing. That's just the difference. Okay, let me just go over it again. Authentication is you proving to an infrastructure, right? It might be a company, it might be a software, that you are who you say you are. So let's take, for example, in software development, right? I want to authenticate, right? I want a user to authenticate. I tell you, give me, you say your name, your username is Victor and your email is Victor blah 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 blah. Okay, tell me something that proves that you are the owner of this account. That thing that proves it is the password, right? So if you can tell me the correct password, then I'm sure that, okay, you are the real user of this account. You understand? So that's authenticating, right? I've proven to you that I am the one that owns the account because I know something secret about that account, which is the password for that account. So if I do that, I'm able to prove to you that I'm the owner of that account. I'm authenticated, I go my way. I can be logged in and I start doing whatever I want to do, right? Authorization, okay. You are the rightful owner of this account, but do you have access to taking this action on this account? Are you access, or do you have the authority to do something or to view a particular information like on this your account, right? So authorization can have to do with your permission and your role. So they are in an organization, right? You have people with different roles, right? Some people can have different roles, right? But different permissions also. There are staffs that maybe staffs that can be given permission to do some other things that probably staffs might not do. That's like on a higher level though. Now, let's now see what are JSON JSON web tokens, right? What are JSON web tokens? JSON web tokens are tokens, right? That are used to encrypt, or let's say encode information, right? Which the user can or let's say which a client can use for authentication. So let me explain how authentication works, right? Software wise. You go to a website, right? You register, you verify your email, and then you try to log in. Now, when you're logging in and you put in your email and your password, and the back end checks that your email and your password is correct, what happens after then that makes them know that you are the one that is making another request later on? What happens there is that when the backend proves, right? When the backend sees that, okay, your username is correct, your password is correct, the backend creates what is called a token. That's I'm referring to using the bearer token strategy, right? So the backend knows that, okay, this guy is true. He has proven to us or to the software that, okay, he's who he says he is, right? So what then happens is the backend would choose some information that relates to you and encode it in a string and then send it to you, right? And send it to the client. Let's say the client is your phone or your laptop. And what the client is supposed to do at that point is when the client receives that token, the client saves that token to be used for subsequent requests that will require that you prove that you're the one sending that request, right? So it's just like, let's say, passing the gates of a company. When you pass the gates, you need to still, some people might still ask, maybe if you're new and your face is new, okay, what departments do you work in? You need to still prove to them that, okay, this is the department I work in, even if you're already inside, right? So it's the same thing. So what happens is, for other subsequent requests that requires that you have to be logged in, you have to pass that token to the back end. We are going to see how we are going to do all that. Then we'll see how to create JSON web tokens, how to register, do register login and logout features. Then we'll see how we can protect routes, right? So protecting routes, what are protected routes? Protected routes are just routes that are not open to the public. So if you notice, when we did our task, our stage 3 task, that's the one that has to do with creating an array of tasks, right? And then deleting and all the stuff. If that was a real backend, right? Anybody can add a task to the back end, right? And it won't know who exactly added it. So, but we can protect our routes. We can say, okay, if you're not logged in, you can't save a task. Or if you're not logged in, you can't delete a task. We can do that. We can make that happen. So now, how do we start with that? Let's look at JSON web tokens and how to create them. Let me go to my browser. So let's see. I hope you guys can still see my browser. Let's say JSON web token. Let me just search that and let's see. I hope you guys can see my screen.
No,
Okay, can you see it now?
not yet.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you just set JSON web token, you would see the npm package and you see this website called JSON web tokens. I can actually go to that website. Let's see what we can use that to do. So JSON web tokens are open industry standard RFT. So they are actually industry standards, right? They are standard methods for representing claims security between two parties. Okay, so if you click here, right, there are a lot of things to read, right, in terms of software engineering, right? There's a lot of standards out there that has to do with information and security. Okay, so JWT implements the RFC 7519 method of claiming security, like claiming to be secured, right, between two parties. JWT.io allows you to decode, verify, and generate JWT. JWT just stands for JSON web tokens, right? So we can see, we can play around with it, right? So let's see. This is an example of what a JSON web token would look like. It looks something like this. It has three parts, right? And those three parts are separated by dots. It has the header part, which this is the encoded version of what you're seeing here. While this here, this middle part is the encoded version of whatever you're seeing here. While this last part here is the encoded version of what you're seeing here. So let's do it. So let's do it this way. Now, if I want to send information to an encoded information to any of you now, right? This is what I'll do. First, let me explain what is happening here. The header, right, of your encoded data has to do with the type of token and the algorithm that you're using to hash your token, or to encode your token. Now, there are different kinds of algorithms, right? You can use to encode your token, but the default is HS256. Now, if we click on libraries here, right, and you come down here, let's go to JavaScript. JavaScript. Yeah, in G now. So I'm still going JavaScript, yes. So you see that there are different kinds. We have this first one, right? Called Juice, npm install Juice. The name of this is Juice. These are all the algorithms it comes with. HS256, HS384, PS, and all these algorithms, right, you can read about some of them, right? You don't really have to know exactly how all of them work, but it's good to know that you have different algorithms, right? But the default algorithm to use to encode the data, right, in JWT is HS256. If we check here, there are still others. This is another type of another library, right? Another variation of the same JSON Web Token library, right? Then this is another one with their different algorithms. Now, what does the algorithm help to do? It helps to encode and decode data, short and simple. So let's come back here. Look at this. Let's just leave this algorithm part. Now, this place, these two sides, right? That's where the magic actually happens. So let's say I want to send data to you, but I want to encode the data. Now I want the data to contain my name and that data to contain maybe a text, and the text should be hello. So I could just, let me see, I could delete this. I could just say my name is Victor, and instead of, okay, sorry, I shouldn't do that. So this I80 means issued at, is a date that has to do with the time that JSON Web Token was issued. You can't actually remove that because it's required. So I could say my name is that, and what I want to say, my message is hello guys. And you notice as I'm typing, right, it's already changing it here. Hello guys. How are you? Okay, now I've written out what I want to encode into this part of the JSON Web Token, right? Then another thing I need to write is, what is the secret I want to use to or let's say just call it a key, or it's usually called a secret. What secret do I want to use to encode my data? So I could change this secret from your 256 bit secret. I could make it normally this is not this secret here has to be random words, right? You can use any random, it doesn't necessarily have to even make sense. So I could just use a random secret that way, maybe a long random word, right? Now, if I want to send this message to you, right, I'll just copy this JSON web token and paste it. Okay, let's do this. Let me copy this JSON web token. I'll put it on the chat section. Right? Then I would also copy this secret key, right? And I'll put it on the chat section too. So what I want you guys to do, right? Go to jwt.io, paste this token I sent to you, and then paste the secret here, and then check what you're going to find as your result. So just do that while we are on the class. Then what you should see at the end of the day is this should be your result actually. What you're seeing here should be your result. If you paste, let me just do this. Let me go to this site again. And let me just copy this secret as if I'm you guys, right? Let me just come here. I'll paste this secret key here. Okay, and it's already showing. Hello guys, how are you? Oh, secrets. Let me see. Wait, if I say share that and I come here. Okay, so if we at all click on that link and we get here, what we will find is the hello guys, and this is supposed to be that long token, right? This here has to be that long token. So I think it's still using the default token, not sure. So let's see, let me share that. Let me share it again. So now what I'm trying to do is I want you guys to understand how JWT works, right? Because it's actually important for you to know how it works so that you know how you can hide information in it, and how you can use it to share information. So in case, okay, it's saying invalid signature. So if you want to use this, right, you would also need to get this signature now. Signature verified. So what is happening here is it actually showed the payload, but the signature wasn't verified, right? If I take it back, it's saying signature verified. Okay, I think I already pasted the signature, so it's just saying signature verified. Okay, so look, what people use this to do is it's simple. What they use this to do is to encode and decode data. That's just what is being used for. So I could encode data into this. I can decode the data later on and then use it for whatever I want to do. Okay, now let's see how we can actually use this, right? If you remember, we went to see some set of libraries, CJWT libraries. Remember we checked here, right? Let's go there again and you'd see one of them which we would use. We'll be using JSON web token, CDEFGHIJ. I think I passed. Yeah, so for NodeJS, what we would use rather, let me see. Okay, yeah. What we would use is JSON web token. This one, npm install JSON web token. We'll see how we can actually use this to do some fun stuff, right? So let's go over to VS Code. Okay, so I'll start the expression again. So I'd say const express should be equals to require express. Then I'd say const app should be equals to require. Or did I say require express in an instance of express? Then what else do I want to do? I could say app.use express.
Please, I saw you zoom a
dot-
little.
You say?
Zoom your screen a little.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I think it's big enough now.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay. I could also say app.use express dot URL encoded extended false. Then what else do I need to do here? I need to listen to a server. So sorry, I need to make sure that this listens to a port, right? So I'd say app.listen, and then I'll listen to port 3000, right? So this is another thing I want to show you guys. It's not everything you have code in your program. Okay, so let's see. Let's remove some things that are hard coded, right? Or hand coded. Let's see. Now, there's what is called an environment variable, right? An environment variable file. Now, what does that environment variable file allow us to do? If you want to share secure, let's say you want it that if someone is reading through your code, right? The person shouldn't actually see the let's say your MongoDB now, the link to your Mongo database, the person shouldn't see it, right? But the person should just know how you configured it, but the person shouldn't see. For example, if I want to connect to my Mongo database now, what I would want to write here is I would say, let me import Mongoose. So I'd say const mongoose is equals to require, then I'd say mongoose. Then here I'll say mongoose.connect. Mongoose.connect is MongoDB. MongoDB with this thing, /localhost port 27017 / test. What should I call it? I should just call it KC class, KC underscore class, right? Then, in fact, I'm going to delete all these things. Let's start everything from the beginning. I'll delete everything, not node modules. I don't want to reinstall that. So I won't want to use, let me see, let me just delete everything I've done here. I'll copy, remember that our entry point was index.js, not tested.js. So I won't use tested.js. I'll continue on index.js. Okay. So now doing this, right? Writing the link to your server directly here isn't really cool. What if, so if someone is reading through your VS Code, if someone is reading through your code on the repository, right? Let's say you push it on your repository, it is public. Someone can actually get the link to your Mongo database. Let's take, for example, if you're running the Mongo database online on Mongo Atlas, right? Someone can actually just come and read your code and see the link to that Mongo Atlas, and the person can use your Mongo database to run his business without your knowledge. And if you're paying for it, you not know you'd be paying for multiple databases without knowing. So how do we prevent that? We can install a package called .env, npm install .env. So .env is a package that helps you create an environment variable file that can hold secrets, things that you don't want to put out there on your repository directly or on your code directly. Now, we've installed that .env file. This is what we can then do. We can say const .env should be equals to require. In fact, you don't even need to do this. Just say require, because we are allowed to do this. We'll say .env.config. Just that, and you've configured your .env. Then what you need to do now is you can create a file. You name that file .env. That has to be the name of the file. You don't name it whatever I want to name it. One. Then what you can do here is you can say Mongo. So now you can say MongoDB URL equals to, then what we'll then do is we'll just copy that without the quotation marks, right? We'll copy that, paste here. We can say port, right? Port should be equals to 3000 because that's the port we want to run our backend on. So we have these two. What we just need to do is we need to come back here. We'll say we want to connect to process. Let me go and copy the name. MongoDB URL. We'll say want to connect to process.env.MongoDB URL. Then here we want to connect to process.env.port. Okay. Then we can then say then console.log connected successfully. That's if everything goes well. Of course, we can have .catch. .catch is going to be .catch would accept an error there, and then we'd say console.log error. Then of course here we can also have our callback function again to say console.log server is up. Okay, so we've finished doing all this complex configuration. What else do we need to do? Now, we want to create some few routes, right? We want to create routes for register, login, logout, right? So what we need to do first is we need to create a schema for our user, right? We need to create a schema. So the schema is going to be used to keep all the information about that user. So what we can do is we can create a new folder. We call it models, and then inside that models folder, we can create a file called usermodel.js. Inside here, we just say mongoose should be equals to require mongoose. Sure. require mongoose. Why is it showing that way? Okay. Then what we can do here is we can say user schema is equals to mongoose dot. So let me check. Why is it showing that way? I want to be sure. I have mongoose here. Okay. So let me just say module.export. Just put that there. So mongoose dot, it's supposed to show, okay, new mongoose. Okay. I just wanted to test that. Mongoose.schema. Okay, and then this our user always have a full name. The full name would be of the type of string. And of course, you must have a full name. So I'll say that required is true. Required is true. Then we'll also have email. Of course, the same thing with email. So I don't just need to write it again. And we could have something like, is email verified? To know if the person's email is verified. Of course, the type of that is going to be a Boolean. And they don't need to supply that if they are registering for the first time, because when they are registering for the first time, their email is not going to be verified, right? So we'll just say default false. So what we are doing here is we are creating a schema. We are saying the full name will always be a string and it will always be required. Required here means you must supply it. On no circumstance would a user be registered without a full name, right? And also a user cannot be registered without an email because of what we've written here, right? But here we are saying the type of email is email verified is Boolean and the default is false. So here, right, if a user supplies his full name and email now, right, it will register the user and it will create the user's full name and email, but the email verified is just going to be false by default. Then what else can we do? We can save the user's password. So we'll say password. Password is going to be the same thing, type of string, and is also required. Yes. Now we have full name, email is email verified, which is going to be false, and then password. Then down here we can say that const, I could call it user model or user collection. I like using collection, but let me use model here. User model should be equals to mongoose.model, and then the model name is going to be users. Here is going to be user schema. Then of course, I want to export user model. Okay, so user schema. Now, another thing I would like to do is I always like to include the timestamp. Timestamps true, so that it will always add a timestamp to whatever I'm doing. Oh, okay. I didn't spell this correctly. This is require, require. So if I say mongoose.s and I press, it's now working. So this would be model. Yeah, so everything should work perfectly well. I didn't get that require spelling correct. So we have this schema for users, right? And we can have schemas for task. Okay, so but let me also create that. We can have a model for tasks too. Or let's say this is an e-commerce site, right? We should have another table for or another collection for products, right? So I could say a new file, I could say products model .js. Then in here, we can say const mongoose should be equals to, in fact, it's just the same thing again. Require, and of course, we can require mongoose. Then, of course, user schema should be equals to new month. In fact, you can actually do this. Instead of writing mongoose, you can say schema there, and you'd say comma model. It's still is a shortcut. So instead of you writing model.schema, mongoose.schema, mongoose.model, you can just write new schema here, right? And then when you want to create the model, you just write const user model, product model, product model equals to model. The model would have the name products, and then this is going to be product schema. Of course, product schema here. Then what we can do here is we can say the products can have a name, a description, and a price. So say name could be name could be have a type of string, and of course is required would be true. Description would be type of string, required true. Of course, timestamps of true. We have something else, which is the cost of the product, right? Or price. Price is going to be a type of string. Required should be true. Price should be number, not string. But if you come across a code where someone uses price as string or number, like it's not, there's a reason why the person would be doing that. Now, JavaScript is not really good with numbers. Let me show you something that would interest you. I know we've talked about the numbers, so let me clear this node. Let me show you something weird with JavaScript. Floats, pass floats of 5 is still 5. Pass floats of 5.0 is still 5. Why? I'm saying this should be turned to a floating point number. Why aren't you adding the point 0 for me? But if I said 5.1, that's when it will show 5.1. But if I convert 5.0 to a string, so if I said 5.0.2 string, okay, it still gives 5. So I think that is going to be 5.0, wait, 5.0.2 precision. Yes, and to precision, I would say 2. Yes. So now, if you notice, if I want my if I want whatever digit, right, I want to work with, right, to have a precision of at least that 1 decimal point, that's at least a digit after the 1 decimal point, right, I have to save that digit as a string. Because if we said, look at this, if I try to convert the result of doing this, if I said pass float, and I said pass float of what I did there, it's still going to give me 5. So anyhow I'm trying to convert this 5.0 back to number, is going to give me 5. The only way I can actually use this, right, and still have it in uniform, right, because now this is a problem, right? Other programming language takes 5 as an int and 5.0 as a float, but JavaScript takes all of them the same. So in order to avoid this, where maybe, let's take for example, someone comes and uploads a product, right, and then the price for that product is 20 naira, and you put 20 naira and he saves it as a number as 20, and then another person comes and puts 20.5. Let's say maybe another product is 20.5 naira. It would save it though, but maybe a mobile app might try to be using your backend, and that mobile app if you're saving floats, you save floats. If you're saving integers, you're saving integers. Now, to avoid that, right, be sure if you know that the number you're going to work with is always going to be a whole number, then you can all just use number here. But even require that string part, right, then it has to be at least have 1 or 2 decimal that digit as a string. Is there anybody that everybody following?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. Really. It's from the env when we're doing .env. What's the
Okay.
difference between this .env and the normal one that we use? Why did you have to install .env again? When we this one we still have .env again. What's the difference?
Okay, so the reason now your Express, right, doesn't automatically understand how to treat this file. So this .env, why we installed .env is this package will enable our Express to work with this environment variable. So anytime you say process.env.mongo db URL, as you're calling this .env, right, this package is going to, in a way, right, it's going to be the one to try to read whatever you're trying to call from here and process it and then send it. So if you didn't install this package, right, it will not be possible for your program to read content from this env easily. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So that's how that works. Okay, so let's continue. I was talking about product model. Let's just keep the price as a number for now. Right, then we've created that. Then I'll say module.exports equals to product model. So now we have user, we have product. Then what is the next thing we need to do? We need to create routes that we can use to interact with user and interact with model and interact with products. So first we need to create 2 routes for the user to be able to log in, to register, not to 3 routes, to register, to verify his email, and to log in, right? Then we'll create the product route. So the product route will be used to add products and the rest. And also we are going to see, since we can have like 2 different users, right? We will make sure that each user only sees the product that he has added. He should not see another person's product. Does that make sense? Because of course, you're not just going to build for one user, you're going to build a product where a lot of users will want to use. So you want to restrict your app to be able to only fetch details for a particular user. So this is what we can do. Let's already start. So here I would say I'll come here, I'll create a folder, I'll call this routes. I'll just say routes and controllers. I'll put the 2 in the same file. Then in here, I'll create a file named authentication. 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 Authentication routes. Authentication routes.js. Or yeah, then we'll say product or product routes.js. So for the authentication route, we are going to create the route to be able to authenticate. So we'll start by saying const express should be equals to express, or should be equals to require express. Then the next thing we are going to do is we are going to say const, I could call this auth router equals to express.router. And the next thing you need to do, or the next thing I like to do once I've created the router, is I want to export that router. So I'll say module.export auth router equals to, auth router. That way. Then what I can do is now I can start writing the different things I want to do with that router. For example, I want to create the register. So I'll say const, or I could say function. Okay, no, not function. I'll say auth router dot post. So I would say this should be /register. Then yeah, I'll use arrow functions here. I would say req, res. Then in here, I would say I'm requesting, I need the username, okay, the full name, email, and password from the request body, req.body. So this is the same thing as saying const full name should be equals to req.body.fullname, const email should be equals to req.body.email, const password should be req.body.password. It's still the same, but I'm just destructuring it here. Okay, then what I can do here is I can say async await. Where is it? I would import this user model. So I could just, well, if I just start typing user model and I see it here, once I click on it, it automatically imports it for me. So I'd say user model.create. But before creating, I want to hash this password. So I could then say const hash password or hashed password should be equals to, let me just keep it as an empty string. The next thing I want to do is I want to get bcrypt to hash that password for me. So I'd say const bcrypt should be equals to require. Then I want to require bcrypt. Then in here I could say the hash password should be equals to bcrypt dot hash sync, and of course the hash sync we are going to pass in password and maybe a digit as 10 or 8 or any one. Then in here I could then say full name, which is that full name, email, which is the email there, and hash, no, and then the password. Sure, password is going to be our hashed password. So after doing that, right, we want to send an email to the user. I could just say user created successfully. User created successfully. res.send. I'll say yeah, and also remember that this is supposed to have a status of 201. 201 means created. So I've created that, or the server has created that that record, right? So 201 would tell the front end or whoever is using an API that has been created. Now, another thing you guys need to remember is anytime you are writing anything on your backend, like you're doing your backend, this git ignore, always ignore node modules and .env. Someone has pushed node modules before online on a task. It's not required. You're not supposed to push your node modules, right? Because it is just going to delay you trying to push like 5,000 files, 5,000 very small files, right? It's easier to download those files than to push them online. So it's better that you ignore it. So git ignore is not going to allow .env and node modules to be pushed online. So that is just by the way for you guys to remember. So I'd say is successful, true. Then maybe a message should be verify your email. Kindly kindly check your email to verify it. Okay, then what I need to do here is before I send this response back, right? Or even after sending it, but I want to send an email, right? I want to send an email to the user. So now, what is a library used to send email to users, and that library is called NodeMailer. So we say npm install NodeMailer. So once we've been able to install NodeMailer, what we now need to do is we need to configure it. So configuring it now, we just need to create a utility, right? A utility folder, utils. And then in that utility folder, we can create a file, and the file name would be email util.js. Now, notice what I did. I'm not writing the email utilities directly into authentication because I might want to use this email utility somewhere else, and I want it to just be like a module that I can reuse. So that's why I'm putting it in utilities. So it's just like 1011 spanner there. Anywhere I want to use it, I can use it. So then what I'll do here is I'll say const node mailer is equals to require, and then you require node mailer. Okay, then here I would say const, we can call it transport or whatever I want to call it, depending on you, but you can call it TP should be equals to. So now you create a transport layer, right? The transport layer is going to be used to authenticate you while you're trying to send email. So I'd say node mailer dot create transport, and this transport will have some few features. It will have service. The service can be Gmail. I'll use my Gmail to send emails. Then host can be smtp.gmail.com. Then we'll now say auth. Auth is going to be an object. You have secure. Secure is going to be true. Then we have a port. So we say port should be 465. Right. Then in here, we are going to have the user, that's the username, which is the email you want to use to send, and the password. So now, how do you create that user and that password? Okay, so we'll go back to that. Then we'll say we can then say send email should be equals to tp dot send mail. Now this send mail is going to have some options. Let me see. It's going to have everything that has to do with your email. To, when you're sending an email, you have your from, to, subject, the body of your email, and the rest. So let's start. So we'd say we want to send it from, of course, the from will always be me. So I can just leave that out. So then I would say the to. So this is one thing I can do. While exporting this email, right? Or while exporting this send email, right? I can allow the user to do whatever he wants to do. Of course, this send email should actually be a function. So this is what I would do. I would say async function send email, and I'll say that you should always pass the to, because the from is always going to be me. You pass the to the person that you're sending to, the subject, and the body of the email. Of course, the body of the email can be plain text or can be HTML, depending on what you want. Then what I can do here is I could say, await send email. The from would always be my email at gmail.com. The to is going to be what you passed here. The subject is going to be the subject you pass to that function. And let's say we are sending HTML. So I've said HTML should be the body. So I've configured that. So all those carbon copy, BCC, all those stuff, you can also still do them here, right? But this is basic to send an email. Then what I can then do is I can say module.export should be equals to send email. So send email is now being exported, right? So how do I get my username and my password? Okay, how do I get my username and my password? What you have to do to generate that for Gmail is you need to enable your two-factor authentication. That's one. After enabling your two-factor authentication, the next thing you're going to do is you are going to go and generate what is called an app password. So let me see if I can show you guys how to do that with my email. Just give me some time. Let me see. Okay, so how did I, okay, let me reshare my screen so you guys could see. Okay, so I'm here, right? And this is my email, right? How did I even get here? When you go to your email, right? When you go to your email, there's that button, right? Okay, anywhere you are on a Google account, there's always this button. When you click on it, you see manage your account. When you click on manage your account, it will then take you to this part you're seeing. So if I come here, you'd see exactly the same interface. So the first thing you need to do is you need to enable two-factor authentication, right? Now, enabling two-factor authentication, if you don't enable your two-factor authentication, you cannot create an app password. So first, enable your two-factor authentication. After enabling your two-factor authentication, I think it's under security. So if you come to security, okay, let me see, two-step verification, password, skip password, okay, so, but this is, so let me see if I search app password. Yeah, under security, there's app password. So don't worry, it's not going to show my password. I just need to. All right, so I've created multiple of this, right? So okay, so this was last year. So I can create another one now, and I'll delete it later on. So I could call the app name KodeCamp 4.0, and I'll say create. Now, this is my app password. This is what I'm going to be using as my password to send an email. So I'll copy this password. Then I have to go back to, then I'll just click done here. So it has included it here, right? Then all I need to do is just go back to share my screen again. We are back here. So in this app password, I can just paste my password there without spaces. Move all the spaces there. Then In here, I would say ukopjunior@gmail.com. But this is also not good. You're not supposed to write this here, right? A better thing to do would be to move this to the env. So we can then have maybe something like, yeah, even if you use small letters, right? It's also okay, but it's more ethical to use capital letters for constants. So I'd say email username should be equals to ukopjunior@gmail.com. Then I'll say email password should be equals to, then I'll copy this password and paste here. So we have these two. I can then come here and say process.env dot email username. Then I can just copy this down here and come here and paste it and say that should be email password. So I've set up how I want to send my email to the user, right? To my user. So let's see, let's come back to our authentication route. So we have full name, this. And then we would want a user to verify his email, but he should verify with let's see, he could verify with a token, right? An OTP. So let's see how we can do that, right? What we need, if we want to do that, okay, I think let's skip the authentication part, right? Because that's going to take enough time, much time. I think we should just say the person has registered successfully. Let me remove this part for now. Okay, if I remove it, then we won't be able to see how users are verified, how emails are sent. So let me just leave it there. Let's come back to this authentication route. We will need to save whatever authentication token is being sent. So I will just say, maybe the user model should have a temporary auth token. I'll just say auth token, right? But what is supposed to be done, right? The proper thing to do is to save this auth token in another table, but I'll just do that here. Auth token, I'll just say type string, I'll just leave it like that. Then I could say auth purpose. Auth purpose. Okay, so we are going to use link, not email for not OTP for now for verification. So let's see how we can do that. I'll just say const I'll generate that token, right? I'll say the token should be equals to sorry, that token should be equals to v4. V4 is coming from UUID. If you look here, v4 is coming from UUID, Universal Unique Identity. Then what I would say here is I would say auth token. The auth token here should be that token. Then the auth purpose, right? So what's the purpose of the token we are generating? I see the auth purpose is to verify email. Okay, so the auth token is that token. The auth purpose is to verify email. If the auth purpose is to reset password, right? So there you can say auth token should be the token. The purpose should be reset password, or yeah, you can do that. But normally you're supposed to save this to another table. So that table will have the username, the user ID, the auth token, and the auth purpose, but it's still fine. Okay. So we've done that. What we want to send to the user, right, via email would be this token, right, as a link. So we can do that by saying await send email. I'll just write send email, and automatically it has imported sent email for me here. Send email, and then what do we pass here? We see that we need a tool. So we said the tool should be, let me use my email, I guess. I could send, let me send it to another email. Victor@gmail.com. So mfreke.victor@gmail.com. Yeah. Then the subject would be, let me break this down into different lines. So the subject would be verify email, while the body would be this. The body is going to be, okay, let me write it this way. The link to, or you can make this more interesting by saying hello, then you say plus full name. Then you say the link to verify your email is, then you now say http:// with the double slash, and you say localhost with the port of 3000 / verify email / then the token. So the token would now be plus token. So if the person registering is Victor, it will be hello Victor, the link to verify your email is that. Then let me create this route. Remember, this is a route, right? Okay, the full path to that route would be /auth /verify email, because when I'm going to create it here, right, I'll use / that auth. So then what can I do here? I can say auth router dot host or dot get, because it's going to be a get request. So this would be / verify email and then that is going to be a request response, and then the token is going to be const. How do you, so now it's verify email / the token. So remember how do we get this parameter? We get this parameter by saying req.params. Then here we'll just say token. Then what we can do here is we can say await. We can try to check if that user exists before trying to verify his email. So we can say const user should be equals to user route or user model dot exists. So user models dot exists is going to return either a true or false, and this is supposed to be async await. if the user exists. So if the user with the token, with that auth token of that token, token. So if the user, so what am I trying to say here? If the user, right, even if there's any user with that auth token that you're sending back exists, right? So if that user exists, this user is going to be true. So I would rather name this does user exist. So here I would say if the user does not exist, that's if the user does not exist, of course, then res.send. The res.send would be, of course, I would give a status of 404, meaning the user does not exist. And then I could say is successful should be false because it's not successful, and then the message would be that the user does not exist. So the user does not exist, yeah. But then if the user exists, what we can then do is we can say await user model dot find one and update. Okay, so what find one and update, right, is a MongoDB method that can be used to find one record that meets a specific query and then update that. So I want to find one user where the auth token is the token, and what do I want to update about that user? I want to update that. Okay, first, also we didn't check something. Remember that while saving this token, we are also saving the purpose of the token. So we want to check for the purpose too. We want to check where the token is that token, and the purpose, auth purpose. And the auth purpose is, it's to verify email. So if there is any user, so this is going to help us in case if the token was meant to be used for something else instead of verify email, right? This wouldn't work. So we say auth token, auth purpose, verify email. Then what do we want to update here? We want to say is email verified? Is email verified? I want to change that to true. Then after that, we can tell the user email res.send. You can say is successful should be true. And then we would say you can send a message that email verified successfully. Then also we can then now write the login route. So I'll say auth router dot post /login. Then req res. Of course, what do we expect from the login? We'll say we are expecting an email and a password. The email should be, okay, everything should be inside the request body. Then we are saying we need that. Then what we'll first do here in the login is we'll say const does, okay, I'll just say user equals to, this should be an async function. What did I do? This would be await. Then we'll say user model dot find one person. So we want to find one person where the email is this email that we are looking for. So if that user does not exist, so if there is no user, right? Then what we want to say is res.send. Want to say is that is successful is I could just maybe use something else. I could decide not to use it. I could just say message should be user does not exist. Okay, then I'll just say return. But you have to be consistent, child. If you're not using it at all, then don't use it. If you're using it, then use it in all the routes. False. Then user does not exist. Of course, if the user exists, it's not going to run this line of code. The next thing we want to do is we want to compare the user's password. So we'll say const the password match is equals to, let's go and import bcrypt. Okay, bcrypt is already imported here. So we'll just say the password match should be equals to bcrypt dot compare sync. Compare sync is going to accept the password that is sent from the user, and then it's also going to accept the hashed version or encrypted version, right, of the password, which is going to be it's going to be user.password. Right, so does password match? Yeah. So if the passwords match, this would be true. If the password doesn't match, this would be false. So we are saying if passwords do not match, then I would want to send something similar to this. Remember to change this to status of 404, sorry. Then if passwords do not match, then it means that the problem is from the user side. He didn't provide the correct password. So dot status of 400. So user does not exist, yes. User, okay, so now it's password not incorrect. Or password not correct, sorry. So of course, if the password is correct, then we would want to further do something else here. So on a normal, right, what we are supposed to do here is we are going to say res.send and we'll say is successful should be true, and then the message should be logged in successfully. But here's the thing, logging in successfully, right? There is nothing that is returned to the user to tell the user this is what you're going to be using to log in, right? Or to prove that you are who you are. So that's just what is left. So I could say user details should be equals to user details should be an object. Normally you would do this when you log in. You want to send the user at least his full name and his email, I guess. So we say full name should be user.fullname. Email should be user.email. Then one thing is left, right? One thing is left, which is the JWT for us to send to the user. So let's install JSON web token. We'll say npm install JSON web token. So that's being installed. Yeah, and that's installed. Then what we can do here is we can say const JWT should be equals to require JSON web token. Then down here, we want to create that web token for the user so that we can send it to him. So then what we can do here is we can say const token, we can say auth or user token should be equals to JWT dot encode. Oh, sorry, JWT dot sign. Sign is going to accept a payload and the key that you used to sign. So remember, if we look at the website again, I'm not at the website, but remember that the website had a payload and a place to put your secret key. So that's what we want to do here. So I would say that now what you encrypt in JWT is totally up to you. But I would advise that you also encrypt the user's ID here. It's important. If you are not encrypting any other thing, at least encrypt the user's ID. So I could say user ID should be user._ID. Please load up _ID, yes. So the user ID should be that user ID. I could decide to encrypt his email to, I could say email should be user.email. Then, of course, I'll send this user token back. So I'll say user token logged in successfully. So let's test all these things we've been writing since. We've been writing a whole lot of code. So npm start. Okay, so it's npm. Sorry, let me clear this out. It's npm clear. Okay, it's npm run dev. And let's see, by the grace of God, everything works well. So I haven't connected this, all I've written here, I've not connected it to my index.js. So let's see. How do I connect it? I'll say, first, I need to import this authentication route. So I could say const auth route, or auth router, anyone, should be equals to require. Then I'll say routes and controllers / authentication routes. Of course, I'll say here that app.use /auth. That every time I hit that auth route, hand over that request to the auth route controller, and the auth route controller is going to do all this. So let me test. Okay, so I'd say /auth /register. Then this is going to be a post request. Okay, that's going to be a post request. The content that is going to be application/JSON. Then of course, full name, email, Gmail, on my password, okay, then let me send that request. And then after sending it, yeah, so I have a response. Kindly check your email. I wanted to use, let me check something. Let me check something real quick. Let's come back here. I didn't have to do this. I didn't have to do this. All I needed to do was use this email. So sorry about that. So instead of telling it must send always to my email, I'll just say the sender, the person I'm sending to that my email to should be that email. So let me go back and test here. This time I'll change the email to mfreke.victor@gmail.com. Then where is the send button? So I'll click send to send a request. And yeah, successful through. Kindly check your email. So let me reshare my screen. Let me go to my browser and check my email as instructed. Okay, so open that up. Google Workspace. All right, so we see two emails. The first one was the first one, right? This other one. Okay, I think this is the most recent. So hello, Victor, kindly, the link to verify your email is this link. So if I now click on this link, yeah, you see, successful through message, email verified successfully. So I've successfully verified my email. And if you want to verify that, let me open my MongoDB Compass. Let's see what is going on there. Let's see if my email has been successfully verified. Let's see that it's loading up. Let me share my screen again. Let me share my screen again. So where is it? Where is it? Okay, I hope you guys can see it. Can you guys see my Mongo Compass? Can you guys see it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So I'll just click on connect and what did I call it? KC. Okay, KodeCamp 4. Sorry, KodeCamp 4. We have products, we have users. How come product is adding? Okay, let me check the name of the database and confirm it. Just give me some few minutes. Okay, it's KC class, not KodeCamp 4. It's KC class. So if we open KC class, we have users. Yeah, so we have this second user, right? Remember the first one was Book Junior, but the second one is Mfreke. So I can delete this other user, right? I've been able to verify my email. So his email verified is true. Of course, my password and everything. What I should have done would be while verifying my email, I would have set this auth token back to empty and the auth purpose back to empty. So let me do that. So let's go back to our VS Code. Let's see how we can do that. Let's come to our auth router. After verifying our email, after saying email verified should be true, what we should do is auth token. If this was in another table, we would have deleted that record. But since it's on the same table, I'll just say auth token should be empty. Auth purpose. Please show up, please show up, please show up. Auth purpose should be empty also. So let me go and click on that link again. Let me go and click on it again. so that it's going to update, right? So this backend, right, is not as sophisticated as how it should be, right? Normally, if you've used a token, right, you shouldn't be able to reuse it. So let me come here, let me click on it again. It says verified successfully. Let's check on our Mongo database. Let's see what went on. So if I refresh, you see that we've reset this auth token and auth purpose back to being empty. We have the full name, email, everything intact. And of course, our updated art is also being refreshed as we do what we are doing. So the next thing we want to, the next thing we want to test is our login. So let's see.
Sir, please, I have a question.
Okay, ask.
Okay. Can it be accessible to many users at a time? Or are we to be the one to authorize many users to be using the app at a time?
Yeah, okay. If you're building an app that uses this backend can be used by a lot of users at the same time. It can be used by a lot of users at the same time. It doesn't necessarily mean that only one person has to use the backend, right? It can be used by anybody. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so yeah, it can be used by a lot of people at the same time. So what they just need to do is, if it's a mobile app that is using your backend, then a lot of users should have the mobile app to be able to consume that endpoint. But of course, you know that their verification token, right, for the verified email is going to be different based on who is doing it, right? So, okay, I think that brings us to let me register with my other email. So I have two emails, cookupjunior@gmail.com. Let me also register with that email. Registered, kindly check your email to verify it. Let me go there to check my email to verify it. So where is it? Where is it? Where are you? Okay, I'm seeing you. Let me refresh on here. Please load faster. Please load faster. Time is not on my side. Google, am I coming now? And it's loading again. Okay, so we see it here, right? We see. So if I click on it, yeah, Victor Okop, the link to your verified email is that. I click verify email. Of course, my email is verified. If we check the database now, so if we come here, if I refresh, I have two different users, Victor and ukopjunior@gmail.com. Of course, these two people can log in, right, simultaneously and do whatever they want to do. So let's see, let's come back here. Did we implement login? Let me check. Did we implement login? Yes, we implemented login. Beautiful. So let's see how these two people can log in. Okay, so let's come back here. That would be /login. And of course, this is going to be a post request. And of course, this is going to have a content type of application/JSON. Then that is going to have an email, cookupjunior@gmail.com. Then we are also going to have a password. The password is going to be Victor Okok, yes. Yes, so what happened? Okay, so let's debug together. What did it say? Oh, okay, I know why. So let's look here. After signing, we didn't provide a key that will be used to sign and unsign, or to sign and verify this token that we are trying to create. So that's why it failed. So let's come here. Let's create that. Let's just say, I'll call this auth token, or let's say auth key. Auth key should be random letters and digits. It can be as long as you want it. Then what we'll do here is we'll come back to the place we are trying to sign, and then we'll say comma, we'll say process.env auth key. So if we do that, what we are trying to say here is, while creating the JWT, right, use this key to encode it. Now, if I get that JSON token back from the user and I want to decode it, right, I'll use this same key to decode it or to verify it. Does it make sense to you guys? Does it make sense? Nobody's saying anything. So by the grace of God, it makes sense. All right, so if we send the request, right? If we send that request, now what do we see? Successful, true, user details, that's the user details there. And this is the user's token. Now, in real life, this is what happens. When this user token is being sent back, it's being stored somewhere on your browser. Or if it's not stored on your browser, it's stored in your cookies. Okay, anywhere it's stored on your browser. That's if you're using your laptop, right? It's stored on your browser. If you're using a phone, it's stored somewhere on the mobile app, right? The database of the mobile app you're accessing, right? So this token is used to verify, or is used to know who you are exactly. So what happens with this token is, when you're trying to make another request, right, you send that request. That is, if you're sending a request to a protected route, you're going to send that request with this token. So what does this token do? This token is used to know who exactly you are. For example, if this token is being decoded back, or let's say, yes, it's being decoded, this token will be decoded back to what we signed it with. Look, let's come here. Okay, remember that what do we put in the token? We put in your user ID and we put in your email, right? So these two, when that token is being sent back to the back end on another, maybe another request to a protected route, that protected route will be a middleware that will first check if that your token is valid. Then if it's valid, it will reveal the user ID and the email. Then I can use that two information to do whatever I want to do. I can use this user ID to only fetch information that has to do with you as that user. I can use it to make decisions if you should be able to delete something. So this is what let's say a company like, let's take for example Facebook do, when you can see everybody's post, but it's only your post you can delete. So they can check if that post's user ID is the same as your user ID, then it means you can delete that post. If that post ID and your user ID, or if the user ID for that post and your user ID is not the same, then you are not going to be allowed to delete that post. That's simple. Okay, so less of the talking. Let me just copy this. Let me copy this and save it somewhere. And if I make another request, so let me make another request and show you guys something interesting. Let me see, where is it? It's only this downside that changes, because the information we are trying to hash, right, doesn't, or to encrypt, doesn't change. It's only this part that changes. So this part that encrypts your key, right, that one keeps changing. Okay, sorry, not only that part, even this one changes. If you look at this ending part, it changes, right? So a few information about this. So what this part that is changing has to do with the I at time, right? This other part doesn't change. This one part that is changing, right, has to do with that issued at time. Remember that there was an issued at time, right? So while I'm creating a token, the issued at time, that's the time at which that token is being issued, right, is also being hashed into the payload for that token. Okay, so let me save this somewhere. I can just save it here as hookup junior token, which is going to be that token, and then I'll let me log in as Mfreke Victor. So I'll say mfreke.victor@gmail.com. Send that request, and then I get my own token. So I can have maybe a single hash here, and I copy this out. So I could say mfreke.victor token. Yeah, let me make my English teacher proud of me. Yes, Victor's token and Hookup Junior's token. Yes, my English teacher should be proud. Okay, so I've done that. The next thing I want to do is I want to create routes to be able to create products and the rest. So that would be me creating the routes, product routes part. So we'll go over this. So I'd say const express should be equals to require express then const product router should be equals to, what did I name this? Let me see, hot router. So this should be product router. Yes, should be express dot router. Okay, then of course nodule.export, because the reason I like doing this thing early is because I usually forget it. I usually forget to export the router. So I don't want to be in that situation where I start looking for it. So it has already become a habit to export it first before I do anything here. Okay, then what can I do? I can create a route where you can view anybody's products. That's a list of all products, but I don't want to do that. I want it that you should only view the products that I created. Yes. So I'll say product router dot get, and I would say / my products. Okay, I'll just name it products. So this would be REQ, RAS. Then this would be await. Did I say await? Async. Here will be await. So sorry, const. We don't have the product model. My bad. Okay, so let's go back and create that product model. Oh, okay, we have it. Now, there's one thing that is missing in this product model. There's one thing that's missing. What is that one thing that is missing? How do we know who created this product? So we would say, we can say product owner. Product owner should be the ID of the owner. So I'd say this should have the type of object. Yeah. object.type the object is it types. Okay, so I would say this should be types dot object ID, and then the reference should be the object ID dot, is it dot object ID again? No. So the reference should be users. Yes. Sorry, product owner. So the product owner is going to be the type of user. This object ID refers that it's an object ID I'm trying to create. Okay, so what does this do? When we save an object ID, right, it will understand that that object ID has to do with the user. Remember that the user, each user that registers, right, has his own ID, right? So we can save that ID in these users here on the product model. We can save it here, so we will know which user has a particular product. So that is what we are supposed to do. Now, remember that any request that is coming into this product should actually be a protected request. So it shouldn't, people that are not logged in shouldn't be able to make requests here. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll create a middleware to check for people that are not logged in. So I'll do this. I'd say function check if logged in. Check if login should have the type of req res next. So req request res response. Next means call the next. Remember that middlewares are middlewares, as they are like middleman, right? Your request passes through them. So next is used to call the next person after that middleware. So this is what I'll do. Check if logged in. I'll say so here what I'll do is I'm expecting that you send an authorization through the request header. So I'll say const req dot, oh sorry, const auth token should be equals to req dot header. So let me see req dot this header and these headers. Okay, so I'm supposed to use headers. So I just wanted to be sure of that. Headers dot authorization. Then, of course, this is what we would do. Would say if, so we want to split by space here. I want to split by space, and I'll tell you why I'm doing that. So const strategy would be auth token at the index of 0. Then the token itself is going to be, I hope you guys don't have questions. So you guys have? Hello, you guys have any question?
None yet from my side.
Okay, how about others? Hello, any other people on the call? Any question?
I'm still following you.
Question.
I do not understand.
Lots.
I have lots of questions.
No, taking
Since you're
everything is a lot.
continuing.
Let's continue.
Okay, everything is a lot, right? Yeah, I totally get. Okay, so let's continue. So what we want to do here is we want to decrypt the token. So which means we'll call the JWT here. We'll say const JWT should be equals to require, and we'll say JSON web token. Then what we'll do here is we'll say const the user details should be equals to jwt.verify, and then the verify would pass in the token itself. So now we'll say if strategy equals to bearer, then that's when we want to do this. Then I would say I want to verify the token itself. I want to verify this token itself. So token itself, then the secret key is hotkey, yes. So I'll come back here and say process.env.hotkey. So if everything goes well, I would say req.user details should be equals to user details. So this is me creating user details in the request body. Sorry, the request object, right? Then what I can do is now say next. Then here I would say else, maybe I should respond res dot status. So I'd say dot send. Status could be 403, while the message here is invalid auth strategy. Then what else would I want to do? So I could also say if there is no auth token, right? So I could say if there is no auth token, then we want to tell them that no token present. So I'd say no token present. Then after this, I want to apply this function I've written to everything here. So what I'll then do is I'll just say auth router. Did I say auth router? Product router.use. And I'll say check if logged in. So now, whatever comes under this check if login is going to do what is specified inside this router. So if you want to access /products, right, you should be logged in to access it. So then what I can do here is I could say const products should be equals to await product model dot find, but I want to find only where the user ID, or is it owner ID I used? Yeah, where the product owner ID is REQ dot user details dot user ID. Remember that this user ID is coming from when we, so what we did here is we are expecting you to send back a token, right? But you're not just going to send back the token, you're going to write bearer space, then the token itself. Then when it comes here, we will split it. The strategy will be bearer, the token will be the token here. Then we want to verify that token. And then when we verify the token, what will be sent back here is the user's detail. Then we can then assign that user's, but this user detail contains the user ID and the full name. The user ID and the email of that user. So let's test it. So we have that product owner. Then we can then say const, res.send products. Then in here, what I can do here is I could say product router dot get, and then I would say that, sorry, this should be post, and this would be /product. Then here would be request response. What we would find here is, let me not copy and paste. I'll just say first and foremost, I want to make sure that the product owner is assigned, right? So I'll just do this. I would say product req.body.product owner. No, let me go the long route, Sha. So I would say await product model dot create. The product name, okay, the name of the product, right? The name of the product is going to be req.body.product, name. The description, the description is req.body.description. The price is going to be req.body.price. The owner ID, product owner, is going to be req.userdetails.user ID. Beautiful. So we've done that. After creating the product, we now tell the user res.send. I can even decide to return that new product. I can call it new product equals to that new product. Then we would say response.send new product. I'll just put it that way. I think we should just go on with these two. So let's test what we've done so far. Now, how do we log in this user that we are trying to use? How do we log in here? So this is what we'll do. Let me delete all these other requests for now. So how do we log that user in? It's simple. Okay, first we need to register that product route. So we'll say app.use. Of course, let's import it here. Const product route should be equals to require /route and controller /product route. So product route. Then here I would say /product. In fact, if I'm using this let me just leave it that way. I'll say it should be product route. So here, how do I interact with that? I would say okay, let me use this one instead. This is a post request to /product /product. I have JSON web token. Okay, content type is JSON. Next thing I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to say authorization should be bearer. And the name of the user I want to log in, or the token with the user I want to log in with. So I want to log in as this user, Junior. So I'll copy his token, I'll put it here. Then of course, I want to view that singular user's product. So I can have another one here, ##. Then down here, I could have a get request to products so that I can see that user's product. Of course, the product has a name, the product has a description, the product has a price. So the product name is bicycle. Buy your delicious bicycle. Don't mind me. Price is 12,000. Wow. Okay, so let's see. Let me send that request. What is it saying? Unexpected error. After position that. So let's see what is going on. It said detected 11 listeners. Possible. Okay, memory leaks. Set that. Okay, so let's come back here and see what is going on. The problem would be from somewhere here. So we have function request response next, request headers, and then when we post to product, right? What we get is request response. This is this product name. Okay, so let me see what is actually going on. /products, we have product routes. Inside product routes, we have products and products, which is a post request. So we have that product /product, which is that authorization bearer, and then our token. So let me send that request one more time. What is it telling us? So I'll solve this. I think I've come across it before. So let's debug together. Now, first, we know that the problem should be from this middleware. So what we'll do is we can say console.log. We want to check if this even exists, if this authorization is coming through. Or we can do this, we will remove the authorization and we check only the request header. So I could say request header. Okay, request header, and I'd make that request. Okay, so we see, okay, so there is, I think the problem is from here. The problem is from this request here, I guess. Okay.
Hello, sir. Can you check where that post request product /product? Is it not? Is there no S?
No, there's no S to it.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me see. Let me put the triple hash on a new line. Let me see if that will work. Okay, so this is quite strange. So yeah, let's debug it together. Let's go back here. /product hash product, yes, app.use, then get product. So let me comment on that, and then let me try to make a get request to products. Okay, yeah, so it can't read user ID, which means it's actually getting there. So let's do this. So let me try it again. Okay, it's saying invalid token. Okay, so which means the token I pasted there is not valid. So let me do this. Let me log in again as ukokjunior@gmail.com. Okay, I didn't have to add it at gmail.com. So it sends us this token, copy it out. Okay, wait. While decoding, okay, yeah, I wanted to be sure of this. So let's see. Let me change this to the new token I've just gotten. Okay, so now it works. It's showing list of products as being empty. So if I said I'm going to post, okay, so it's saying product description is, the part description is required. Okay, so which means it's not getting the description. So let me see why it's not getting the description. Let's check together. So okay, so description, let's check the spelling here. Description, okay, so what is it still saying? Description is required, type required, okay. Oh, okay, can you guys see the error? Hello, can you guys see it? Hello? Can you guys see the error?
Yes, sir.
So I spelled description, I didn't spell it properly here. So it was that this was where the problem was coming from. So let's come back here. Let me send that request. Of course, so a product has been added, right? Let me make this sidebar smaller. So a product has been added, right? By a delicious bicycle, of course. Then if I want to get a list of products, let me copy this token. Now, remember that this is a Hookup Junior, right? So if I want to get his own token or his own products, right? Let me change this token now and paste the new one. So if I click send, it only sends me his own product, his list of products that is added. Let me log in as Mfreke mfrake.victor@gmail.com. So let me copy his auth token, and then let me try to get products. Where is the get? So let me use mfreke.victor's own token now. Paste it, come back here and send. You see, now this is another user, right? This user is not seeing the other user's product, right? Because the backend is filtering by the user that is logged in. So if you're not the one that is logged in, you're not going to see this product, right? Except you are logged in, that's when you will see it. So this person can also decide to add his own product. So if I want to use his own token, let me copy his own token, come back here, paste it. I could say I want to add a car. Buy your big car. Car is too cheap. Private jets. Yeah, buy your private jets. Yeah, buy two, get one free. This can be like 30,000 because private jets are really expensive. So I could add that for that particular user. Of course, if he wants to check his list of products, he's only going to see his own product, right? If we logged in as Victor, as Ukov Junior, right? We should only be able to see only his products. Yeah, so this one is still, he has his bicycle. Now, what is really happening, right? Let's come back to our product model. Oh, sorry, our product controller. Where is it? Product controller. Now, this middle here, this middleware here, right, controls. First, this middleware enables us, right, or it adds the user details. First, it checks the token you're sending, right? Is the token correct, or is the token valid, right? Can it be decoded, right? Or can it be verified? Yeah, verified is like checking if the key, right, can actually be used to decode that particular token you're sending. So if the token it can be decoded, okay, then we should extract the user's detail from that token. Then after checking the user's detail, right, we now assign that user's detail to the request. So we just create the user's detail object, right? So sorry, we create the user detail object in the request user object. So we just say req.userdetails is user details. This is my simple way. So now, why I'm doing this is any other route that is going to take care of that particular request is going to find it very simple to work with. It will just be me saying req.userdetail.email or req.userdetails.user ID. Because remember that while we're registering, right, or while we're logging in, we put in the user's ID and the user's email to the token. So that's why at this point, right, at this point we are checking if the user is logged in, we can actually get access to his user details. So that is it. So in the next class, right, we are going to see how we can delete, right? We can enable only users that are only users that created a particular product to be able to either edit or delete their products, right? So we will check if you're not the person that created this product, then you shouldn't be able to delete it, or you shouldn't be able to edit it, right? Except you're the one that created it. So that's what we would be doing in our next class. Okay. So do you guys have any question? Any other question? Or any question based on what we've done so far today? Okay, so if you don't have any question right about now because maybe you've not absorbed everything that's being taught in this particular lesson, you can, or in any other lesson, you can always ask your question on the Discord group. I would reach out to answer them. And yeah, if they are not questions that have to do with tasks, I could give you a direct answer. But if it has to do with tasks, then I'll just give you a hint or a clue on what to do or how to answer it or how to go about it. Okay, so if there's no question for today, I think we can call it a day. So thank you very much for coming out to today's class, and I'll see you in the next one.